a.m. and you mentioned just now the wind. What does it mean if we can't go north or south? And how is that?
Let's say plan A, it would be to come down to Bismarck Strait. Adriano can show you.
Also,
it's on the back here.
The one that we project. So basically, Jessica, sorry if I take. We move away. The main plan is we could actually arrive here at 11 o'clock. So that means that you will start to see ice way before. So most of the time when we're gonna be here around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's called Baff Island, that is here. So you will be already able to see large icebergs, like obviously talk about stadium size. So big thing. So physically, as Captain mentioned, we're gonna enter inside here at 11 o'clock, where will be a narrow passage, but I'm sure you can start to enjoy already from early hours in the morning, like 8, 9 o'clock, so it will be already beautiful, like early in the morning. But the first day, Captain, we were trying, together with Captain, to access here at the Paradise Harbor, Paradise Bay. It's very beautiful scenario. Unfortunately, again, as a Captain say, it's very hard you to promise a specific places. The reason why, especially as Captain said, there is this northerly wind. Now there is basically in this strait is called Gerlache Strait. So the wind is going, let's say, from top to the bottom. So it may be the case that actually clear up the channel, so it will be easier for us to drive through. But again, doesn't mean that we need the necessary to go to the bottom. All day there will be amazing. Ice everywhere, mountains, so it's I know that most of our guests been in Alaska. Are you?
Yeah.
So I'll let you leave
So after we go where we go, you're not going to Alaska ever again.
Don't say it too loud.
Having said that, it is just a fact. It's Alaska. I've been to Alaska for more than 20 years. I went to Alaska, and we will keep going to Alaska. Alaska has different beauties, okay? But when it comes to ice, unfortunately, the ice that we can see from a ship in Alaska compared to what you can see in Antarctica, it is just nothing, unfortunately. I mean, it is a fact that the glaciers are regressing. Alaska still has a lot of beauty, has still big glacier. You need to go inland, either you fly on top of them or you're going up in the Fairbanks, those areas. Alaska has its own beauty. It's a different type. Down here, you have a 360. In Alaska, you don't have that one. You have 360. Wherever you turn around, you see massive ice. Iceberg, the one you mentioned, down in Bismarck, we see tabular that are 2 times, 3 times the size of our vessel. In Alaska, you don't see that. In 2023, we had the opportunity to bring the vessel to the A23A. A23A, it is now breaking apart. It's still, the pieces coming out of that iceberg are big, massive, but in 2023 was something like 30 miles long. So when we actually saw him at sea, it looked like it was land. You couldn't tell that was an iceberg, a floating thing. So obviously, Alaska, you don't have all this, yeah? But still, we still go. So you please buy the ticket because we have a lot of ships investing there. Yeah? So we have a lot of things, different things. I do hiking in Alaska, and I love it. It is nice.
Speaking of ships, you mentioned other vessels will be in the area. Do you communicate with each other to forecast conditions?
Yes, not constantly. We have a system. All the ships that come to Antarctica are tracked. Additional, we normally track by longer range Inmarsat satellite, but down here we're using a network which is specific for the ship in Antarctica. We can see where they are. We can talk, and we talk if there is a value, meaning if we go into a place where there is someone else, we can have a chat with them, so we have a first-hand report on the ice condition that is there. So we know that can we go, also the size of the ship, if it's an icebreaker, of course, they can do things we cannot do. But the ship that you saw yesterday are not icebreaker, but they are ice reinforced vessels, so they can do a little more than we can. But we have a communication with them just to additional. It's also if anybody needs help down here more than in any other place, we will be available to each other. We are probably the biggest ship down here, and so we are the one technically that can give more support to the others. So better facility, more space.
Captain, I have just project now. It's a program basically that we need to be in compliance with. It's called Pulsar. So basically, we have a system that is transferring to shoreside position, speed, and all those data to all the other ships. As you can see, that's the live situation like 10 minutes ago, where all the other ships are and they're where they are aiming for. Now, as you can imagine, this line is the 24-hour, let's say, track line. This is also a good tool for us to see where they have been. So why nobody been through here? So it may be a sign that is blocked or whatever. So now obviously we are, as Captain say, in touch with some of them. We can get in touch with their expedition leaders, so to have some suggestion on the quantity of ice and based especially on the side of our ship if we can go through. That is a useful tool and actual rules also that we need to comply with. Again, number of ships are increasing in the area, and the number of visitors for years is increasing every year. But that's quite useful tools and will guide us also, suggesting us if we can go through some specific passage. The area that you see actually, I'm sure Captain then will add something. Those red ones are speed limits. The reason why those speed limits are there is because are the whales. There's a huge quantity of whales. So other than ice, you will be able to see an enormous quantity of whales. And that's pretty beautiful, I would say. Penguins pretty much everywhere. So this is something that I'm sure that we can promise. Ice, penguins, and whales. That's huge things. I didn't expect that yet.
As a matter of fact, they've been there a long time, so I don't
I'm
think
sure they're gonna be there.
Yeah, they're not gonna go. Whales, yes, it's whales, killer whales. We need to go slow for marine life to make sure that we don't disturb and we don't hurt marine life. So that's another point. We go slow, and if it takes time to move from one place to the other, that's the way it is. They tracking every single ship, very, very careful. We have a 0.1 of a knot above and below the limit that we can reach. Other than that, we have to be exactly at the speed that it is advertised, which is 10 knots.
How did you prepare for this voyage in terms of learning and studying the regulations by IOTO and the tour operations, and what are the fines that you could incur in upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars if something were to happen?
The fines, so far they never came to me, so I don't know how much they pay. And I haven't
get them, so I'm free of charge at the moment.
Free of charge. So far that I know, I haven't breached any of the IATO and international rules. So as I say, we go carefully and we do respect any regulation. The planning of a trip down to Antarctica takes time. There is a nautical planning, there is an environmental part, there is local rules. So I would say a good 3 months time. Having said that, 3 months for people that have been already down there. If you never ever been to Antarctica, it takes longer. There's a lot of information that you have to go through about the place itself, about the sea, the current, the weather, IATA regulations are quite extensive, and so we have to, all of us on the team, on the bench, we have to pass a test, which is nothing extreme, but it is topics that we normally we are not familiar with that, so you really need to do the preparation for that. So yeah, it's quite extensive. Every year we have to repeat this training. So to come down here as a captain, you must have previous experience. You cannot be at the first time down here. It's something that is unique to Antarctica. So I've been to the north part of our planet. The first time I've been there, it was the first time. Antarctica is a very protected place. So this year, this is the last season for Sapphire Princess in Antarctica. The company has changed the plan and they will put a different ship. The captain that is appointed to that ship is here with us and is here to familiarize. So next year when he goes there, he will be in a position that he already saw where he's going, and so it requires a lot of preparation. We don't just go there and see what happens. That's the way we approach the place here.
I just want to announce my promotion to captain, everybody. I'll be taking over.
Adding to that, the company is very keen to provide to the ship that is going down to Antarctica the most experienced officers that have been already down here. And the requirement for the company is 75% of the deck officers that are physically the one that is driving the ship need to be already have been to Antarctica.
With experience, yes.
That's is something that the company, we work on it. So reason why very often I had the pleasure to sail with the captain down here. So so it will be tough for us captain leaving the area after so many years that we have been.
You never
here.
know. A box of chocolate. You take the next, you don't know what is coming from. But yes, Antarctica, it's a place that leaves a mark on you under many different perspectives, but definitely there is a mark which is attraction. I think if you're talking to us, sailor, we come to this profession because we like to go around the world. At least that I speak for myself. The reason why I decided to go at sea was because I want to see the world and be in places where I haven't been before. And I've been lucky enough, this is a big luck, that I could come down here. I have colleagues, we have colleagues that will finish their career. They've never been able to bring a ship down to Antarctica. For good or for bad, as I said before, it is more demanding, yes. You don't need to be Superman, no. You just need to be a good professional. That's what it is. But in general, in our job, that's what you need. At sea, even in place where it's normally very calm and quiet, at sea there is always a component that is unknown, unexpected. So it is part of our education, part of our approach to be sharp, and at least that's what I expect, what I try to teach to the team upstairs. Don't take shortcuts, don't take chances, don't assume anything. We have enough people, we take the time, we just assess and we do what is possible.
And Captain, Nando was asking to me when we're gonna basically do a big step to enter in the Antarctic Convergence Zone.
Antarctic Convergence.
As you can see, it's not like a linear shape, and it's not matching with 60 degrees south. So it goes around, and as Captain already mentioned, due to the shape of the Earth, and it's gonna happen this early afternoon. The main thing for us, and we always like to record it, is how quickly change the water temperature. it could change like in a really matter of 10 minutes, 3-4 degrees.
More than that. So it is as I said before, two masses of liquid at different density. They don't mix, and it's a drop of 5-6 degrees sometimes, almost instantly. If you consider how many billion of tons of water, and it's the main current rotate clockwise around Antarctica, looking at the South Pole. So that flow of water is actually act as a barrier to protect the marine life that is south of that one, because that marine life needs cold water. Like in Antarctica, it's not going to happen now, but you come into a certain time of the year, you have seawater temperatures -2, and it's not frozen. -2 degrees on the water at sea, and it's not frozen. And that's because of the pressure and the density of the water. So it's a very particular place. Echo sounder, speed log, they will tell you the bingo numbers as we hit that one. We start having completely unreliable reading because they are built and set calibrated for normal temperature and normal density of the water. So we see that immediately as we hit the conversion zone, that certain equipment, they just go. We don't go by magnetic compass, so we're safe.
Definitely no. Exactly, just to add something on what Captain say about the anti-clockwise. So the reason why also, if you recall, the Captain told you that we have a following wind from north to south, so from this direction basically. So it's very unusual because those low pressures go on basically clockwise. And the reason why, actually, if you see the west coast of South America is much more destroyed throughout the millions of years compared to the east coast of South America. And I'm sure that you recall the heat. If someone was with us from the beginning of the cruise when we moved from west to east side of the South America. So most of the time here we are experiencing westerly wind. So very unusual for today actually weather situation.
Did you put the satellite picture?
Yes, I did.
So you see in the satellite picture it is a very solid, thick cloud. This is just before we came down. I don't know if it's showing or not.
I have it here.
Yeah, we just switched the image now.
Anyway, the cloud.
Here we go.
So, what you see in white, I'm sure you're familiar with satellite picture. These are just a visible spectrum. We're not in infrared, so it's what is visible to open eyes. And you see that tiny little, I would say, fray of cloud. We are somewhere in between there. And it's actually a gap between two masses of two low pressure. One is west of the South America, and the other is on Antarctica, moving east. So we've been lucky coming down in the break at the moment. We got a good spot. The luck doesn't last forever. Anyway. But that's where we go, north and south. And we are really at the end. If you believe that the planet is not flat, you don't. I hope. Because some people still think of that.
Especially about Antarctica, I don't know what, there's somewhere there is a theory that there is a big wall.
And we'll find out.
It's another Truman Show. Very cool. The map that you had earlier at the top of the show is a printed sheet that I think we'll distribute to the cabins. It's an option of our voyage, which we will go, so you will be getting some sort of map, if you haven't already done so, to your cabin, so look out for that Antarctic.
I'm sorry if I interrupt you. So,
no, it's okay, continue. I actually have to go, so Captain, thank you for everything. I have nothing to add to this
someone
presentation.
is advertising to you this map. At the moment, obviously, they're asking us to prepare this map. You will be able to see around as soon we complete our Antarctica cruise. As we say, again, it's very hard to predict where we're gonna be and when. So when will be finalized the itinerary, I'm sure that Richard is happy and look at me. Richard,
don't hide. Come here.
So we're gonna.
No, so our hotel general manager, Richard Harry, he doesn't like to be prominent. Here we go. No, I just want to know.
I get stage fright.
You can come up with us or not, as you like. I just want to know when do we have to stop. That's it.
Keep going, everyone loves it. Thank you.
You're the captain, you can keep going.
He's the one who makes happen the logistic of food, entertainment and everything in the middle of nowhere in the South Pole. So he has a big task. You know?
So,
Yes.
just this is, as you know, it's another source of information that we are adding to our planning. Is a satellite live imaging, pretty much live. So once a day, the satellite goes through the Antarctic Peninsula, and basically we can have a pretty recent picture of what the icy conditions are. Going back on the itinerary of what we are trying to do. The first day, if we can, and that was the point, is around 11 o'clock here, is very close to the Palmer station, it's an American station. You will be able to see it actually if you're gonna try to pass close by. Entering in the Bransfield Street and aiming for Paradise Bay. Then, if everything succeeds and is free of ice, we're gonna basically loop around Amber Island and we're gonna go through the Dalman Passage. And basically overnight we're gonna sail around the Amber Island. There's nothing to see during the night, but obviously the pretty side is that. So basically the Paradise Bay and the Dalman Passage. The morning after, I'm sure that they inform to you that we're gonna be here. So that's the Port Lockroy. So it's UK stations. We will have a pleasure, Captain, to have some of them on board, showering, eating.
Yeah, we give them for free. We don't charge. They come on board. If you live there, probably you will do the same because it is an opportunity for them to have a little comfort. The Port Lockroy station is a seasonal station. It's not all year round. So that means their facility is very limited, very, very limited. So they take advantage when they come on board to have a day or half a day with us. We offer them, of course, a nice hot shower, some good coffee, and food.
And pizzas, Captain,
And
always. They're asking for
I didn't want to say because the fact that I'm Italian, we don't want to
Napolitan, Captain, even worse.
tell the rest of the world that we advertise our food in Antarctica, but it is a fact, they love it.
So just a little explanation. We're gonna stop here very close to the base, where you can obviously see the base itself is a red box, basically no bigger than a red box. And we will go with our fast rescue craft to pick them up and bring them on board for you to have an explanation of what their experience is and what they study in the area. If there is a chance, then Captain will give us the pleasure to sail around the islands, and if it's possible and it's free of ice again, there is also a Chilean base here, the Yelko base, and it's surrounded by a massive glacier. So we'll try to slide in, loop around, and for 4 or 5 hours, and then around midday, we're gonna try to bring back them to their station and going through the narrow curtain here, where I'm sure you can mention something.
Neumayer, so Neumayer Strait and Channel, very wide on the bottom, normally not a problem. Then we turn, and then going up. On the very top, the exit of Neumayer can be very tricky. We've been in there and taking 3 hours to move like 700 meters. in the middle of the night. We are just pushing through ice, really pushing through ice.
Just
because
clock night, Carlo, because we've been...
Sorry?
Just clock night, because it was sunny.
Yeah, well, night on the watch, yes. Fortunately, it was still daylight, but at night we had reduced visibility, so that's a problem here. Can be foggy, big concentration of ice, and the current. The current, when it changes there, can choke both the entrance and the big bends there in a way that we can't go through anymore. So we have to look into that if we can do it. But that's one of the places we normally try to go.
Very windy and again, it's very unpredictable what's gonna be behind the corner because as you can imagine, we can look through the mountains yet, so we don't know. We don't know what's actually the real situation here, unless actually, as we mentioned before, if there is any other ship that transit shortly before us, we could ask some information about. And that's pretty much the second day.
Yeah.
And if we will manage to get out in some way, we will aim for. We will have.
It can be from the north or the south.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise backwards.
Yeah.
A little bit longer, but this is very pretty scenario. It's very high mountain. Carabatic wind is very strong here. You can experience 100 knots of wind, and it means 200 km/h ish. So very, very strong. Once we are out, we're aiming basically to Wilhelmina Bay. That's this one, and this Plata Passage. Very pretty. Kevin, you've been there more than me. I transited, I think, twice only, more than me. And big glaciers, actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're pushing a big amount of ice in the water daily. So it's something we try to do. It is very depending on the ice concentration. It is narrow and also weather. Wind, if it's windy, we cannot go in. We risk to get stuck down there. And the risk is the ice moved by current, and we're talking about millions of tons, because it's a lot of big ice coming in, can physically squeeze you. Even if you're just standing still, it doesn't mean that you're safe. If you're compressed by ice, that's one of the differences, for instance, with Alaska. In Alaska, you don't have ever this problem. We go to Alaska, and we have the pilot, Southeast Alaskan pilot, Southwest Alaskan pilot. They see what we call brush ice in the water. They freak out. They start telling you, Captain, I suggest not to go.
Yeah, don't worry about that's
no, it's not no worry about it, but it's, yes, you can damage the ship, even in that one. But if you go slow, you don't do any damage, because it's very limited in quantity and size. Down here, what you don't have to underestimate is the pressure that is exercised by current and ice on the ship's hull. So if we don't go in certain area, there's a reason. It may look like it's doable, but there's a risk that we can't afford to take it. So we'll keep you informed. So you see us coming on a public address quite often during the day. We tell you why and what and when. So it is really a la carte menu, but we choose what we eat.
A question that often the phone rings on the bridge, and the passenger asking, "What's this bubbling thing that comes from the ship?" And Captain, if you can.
So this vessel is many in the fleet, not only Safari. Safari has been the second one fit with the air lubrication system. It is a system which is installed to optimize speed. And what we're doing, we inject air bubbles, small size air bubbles, underneath the hull in the forward part of the vessel, and that creates a layer between the hull and the water. Now, technically, that should improve the performance in speed of the vessel. I stop here.
I can
meaning-
see you laughing, Captain.
No, it is true. It is not. It's not a lie. But in order to have an actual, a tangible, a visible increase in speed, you must maintain a very, very specific dynamic trim. On a passenger ship, this is not easy to achieve because you're moving around the ship constantly. And even if you don't think about it, it's quite a good amount of weight changing constantly through the vessel. Liquids, we are, in a way, we are obliged to have certain liquid in certain part of the ship. So, as a top speed system, it's not that much efficient, but we use it. In Antarctica, I find out actually it's very valuable because we inject air, and the air that comes up, it comes up from midship and on the back. It just pushes ice away, particularly for us, from propellers. You may have block of ice that are in neutral buoyancy, and that could be a problem for the propeller. If you hit one of them, it's like if you hit a piece of rocks. So you will see sometimes bubbles coming up. We're not doing anything illegal. It's air that we blow in. Modern icebreaker, they use this, and they use water gun to break the ice all the way around the perimeter of the icebreaker ship. So it's just an addition, as I say, quite a good for us. We don't need to have it all the time, but when you have a lot of ice coming close to the ship, we put it on just to push the ice away.
Captain, going through the second day that I was going to close it, will be pretty much the Wilhelmina Bay will be the end of the second day if we can. And third day, we're gonna aim for Deception Island. But if at that point when we are in front of Deception Island, you are asking for why Captain doesn't go through or doesn't go in, is because we can legally go in. Obviously, there are legal things that we need to be in compliance, and so basically all this area is surrounded by something is called ASMA or ASPA. So those ones specifically, Deception Island, that is the active volcan down there in Antarctica, is a protected area. So it's Antarctic specific protected area, and the ship of our size can't go in. In the past it was possible, now it's no longer possible. The reason why we will stop in front of Neptune Bellum, that is the entrance, and then we will try to look around and to see one of the biggest colony of penguins in all Antarctica. It's thousands of penguins. There will be so much that actually you will be confused that if are they rocks or penguins. So just get ready with your binocular, because obviously we can get too close, otherwise big trouble for us. But this will be in the morning, 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning until 9, so 2-3 hours we're gonna spend around the Deception Island. So once we're gonna just drive away a little bit from Deception Island, then early in the afternoon, around 3 p.m. will be in one of the highlights of the cruise. I think it's one of the most beautiful parts, is the Admiralty Bay. This one is an ASMA, is Antarctic Special Managed Area, and we have the permission to get in. So reason why we can access to this area. And also here is basically there's so many glaciers that we need simply to pick a few to look at, because it's basically surrounded by glacier all over the place. There are multiple stations here, the Polish, Brazilian, Chilean. They very often are very welcome to talk with us. They are very happy also to show their own flags and wave at us. So confirming that some of them are throughout the year there. So pretty cold to live.
Yes, so the Bransfield, Gerlache, in winter you can walk on top of it. So for these people living there, it's quite isolated. The Chilean, they have an airstrip, so they're a little more easily in contact with motherland, but again, that requires condition that you can fly a plane there, because in certain condition you can't. So very interesting. This island, Livingstone Greenwich, very beautiful island. But we're not going to have the time if we go northbound to pass close enough. We need to stay out, otherwise we are late in King George and Admiralty Bay.
Yeah, do you remember it was this speed limits area?
Yes.
So to gain some time and to give you a better experience of Admiralty Bay, where we prefer that we are for a longer time, we rather prefer to get out from this red area, from these speed limits, increase the speed and basically go in as fast as we can in Admiralty.
However, if we have a nice day with good visibility, it will be still a pretty cruising, scenic cruising, going from Deception up to King George. We see, so King across.
So that basically will end the third day of our Antarctica scenic cruise, and morning time, so we're gonna aim to Elephant Island. Around 6:30 we'll be on the southern part of Elephant Island, and then we will intentionally slowing down the speed to sail all the way through the south of the Elephant Island, where beautiful glaciers are, and a lot of stories behind these islands.
Yes, we have enrichment lectures on board that they know everything about these places, so they will top up with continuous broadcasting when you're there. Elephant Island is Shackleton, you know about it. So there is a lot to say about it. And I would say it's pretty a dramatic view from the north. When we come down from the north, unfortunately, very often we come in the morning and it's foggy. And again, it's one of these situations because of the way the island is built. This cliff, this very, very high mountain that they block the passage of the air. They just create this cushion of kind of fog. Coming from the south, normally it's clear. We cannot go very close because it's shallow, very shallow, extended quite a lot out. But on a clear day, you will have a beautiful sight of Glacier Mountain, and not uncommon to see iceberg. But at the time, you'll be fed up to see iceberg because it will be just another one. Another iceberg, yeah.
But here also in this passage often a lot of whales as well is one of the passage where, and if we'll be able, Captain, as I don't know if it's a good idea to mention to them, but we will try to sail also on the northern part of the Elephant Island again. The visibility quite often on north side is not the best, but in case it will be a nice day, there is also another beautiful glacier in this area where we can see a statue of this gentleman.
So is it the Chilean man in command, captain, I would say, that went to rescue Shackleton and his people. There is a little memorial there. It is visible. You need a binocular to see it because it's not very big, but we've been in a position and close enough already that we could see that. You have to believe me. Or you're going on internet, probably you find better information.
It's always surrounded by sea lion. I don't know how.
Yeah, well,
always sea lion attack this.
The guardian of the galaxy, sort of. So that is, in a nutshell, what we attempt to do in the next few days. Now, as we mentioned, 24 hours daylight, or almost so. Aurora won't be visible, it won't be an option, the southern light, unfortunately. To go and see the southern light or the northern light, we have to go at the time of the year when it gets dark. Other than that, I mean, they are there eventually, but not to the peninsula. The peninsula, is, the way Antarctica is formed, is not really frequently affected by the southern light. You wouldn't be. You have to be more inland. I checked this morning into the NASA site. First of all, the solar radiation is very low at the moment, so you need a strong solar flaring, and it wouldn't be anyway reaching the peninsula. So that is one to tick. The northern light, you have to go in the north, not in the south. Yeah, no, it is in the north. That's why they call northern light. The polar circle is 66.5, so we don't go that deep south. We are limited at 65.15, and so that's another thing. You're not going to be able to tick with Sapphire, but again, it's not doable because we're not a ship that is certified to go to certain latitude. If you compare in north and south, you will find, so in the north, I've been to Magdalena Fjord in the Svalbard, Spitsbergen, that is 79 something, nearly 80 degrees north, 80 degrees north. On the south, you can't go that south with a ship, or if you can, you need a class 5 icebreaker. So the north-south, the difference are quite significant. Cooler down here than in the north, and weather-wise, at the same latitude in the north, you have a much more milder condition than what you have in the south. So Ushuaia is on a latitude, and even a little north than Ushuaia. You are on latitude where in the north you are Copenhagen, Oslo, Manchester, if you are in the UK, Moscow, in continental Asia, Eurasia. And the conditions are very, very different. Ushuaia yesterday, as I said, was a nice day. Yesterday. Yes, because you are not blown out of the dock. You could walk. We've been in Ushuaia that you can't walk on the dock because the wind will, or you fight really, and you have to be careful. Don't go close to the edge of the dock because you can be blown in the water. So extreme. And again, it's related also with the way South America is formed and the mountain, the Cordillera. They have their own microclimates and affect the area. So that is.
I think we mentioned everything.
Everything. If you have any question, it says, don't ask. Well, who has a question?
So I was looking at what the time would be in Port Lachlan to find out if there was a difference in the time from where we are. And it's a 16-hour difference from where we are. I was curious, do they just not figure, they don't go into that, they just say, whatever, it's where we are.
Port Lachlan, so they may, I don't know, they may use UTC time, but
no, it's
16 hours that I know, it doesn't exist on our planet, 16-hour difference, unless you really go all the way around the world. So we use in UTC -3
Right.
for convenience. It would be more UTC -4 probably, but we, instead of changing unnecessarily 1 hour forward, 1 hour back in the middle of the sea, we just stay on what is the main coordinated time for South America where we visit. Locally, I haven't checked if it's any difference from us.
No,
It's the same.
It's the same, and time we're gonna be there is 7:30. 7:30
Yes,
we're gonna be on
so
board.
it's morning.
Ship's time.
Ship's time. Yeah, to you, we talk to you in ship's time, so you don't get confused.
Yeah, we have no clock change throughout all
No,
the South American
we
season,
stay
so it's
always on the
ministry.
same. It is also an advantage.
Yeah, and they work with the same calendar. Every time we have built any things is same time. We're working exactly with the same time.
Good.
And yeah, actually, it's, just to take the opportunity, this thing that you see on top left corner is the IATO organization, and this is something that is called a ship scheduler. So even though obviously there are not many ships, because it's a very narrow, congested area sometimes, we have to book our slots throughout certain kind of passage to avoid to create the congestions with other ships. As again, Captain mentioned, in this area is very narrow, so it will be not very useful to meet someone else that they need to go through, also because there is not enough space for the ships. So avoiding that, we booked our slot in the morning already 6 months ago, probably 6 months ago, so 7 o'clock to 1 p.m., but midday pretty much. And yeah, it's pretty, you know, things are, even though it looks very random, okay, it looks like we don't know where we're gonna be, is everything like extremely precise to avoid really any congestion and traffic, also in this really remote area of the world.
That's it. No? There's no, I don't think there's any free coffee. No. Nothing is for free on this. Yes, please.
Most of the really pretty parts on the port side, are they?
No. No. It depends how we go. Port side in Antarctica can become starboard side very quick. So if we visit anything that for any reason would be only visible, accessible to the port side of the ship, we will let you know. But as I say, Antarctica is 360. You just need to stick your head out, and in any direction you see ice. If we go into Neumayer, yes, certain things are on the left-hand side of the vessel. Yeah, we can have some particular big iceberg. We will let you know off the port side we have this, and we don't turn the ship for the people that are on the starboard side. We don't have the time. In front of glacier, normally, when we go like Admiralty, we will try to spin the ship so that everyone has an equal opportunity to see the glacier, the ice, whatever is there. Yeah.
And also, if we're gonna meet any huge size iceberg, and we have time to loop around, obviously there is a certain distance that we need to keep to the iceberg. Is usually twice the distance, twice the height of the.
Yes, do this. Twice what you see in vertical, you keep it in the horizontal, and you're fairly safe. Anybody who comes very close to an iceberg is taking a bit of a chance.
As you can imagine, the mass of this iceberg is way, way, way bigger than the mass of the ship. So in case of
Yes.
any...
They're called, this big one they're called dry dock. You see them sometimes, no? It's like dry dock type of iceberg. These are dangerous in a way that they can change the buoyancy characteristic instantly. If a piece of ice break underneath, the buoyancy of the whole block change and the equilibrium change. It can flip over very quickly, so you don't want to be any near to that. Yes, the gentleman there would.
Yeah, I was wondering what the magnetic variations down here, and magnetic distance.
So the more we go into the pole, the less is anything magnetic valuable. If I'm on the North Pole or the South Pole, which direction is south? If I'm on the north, is any direction. So we normally don't navigate by compass, magnetic compass. We have it. This ship still has a magnetic compass. The new ships, they don't use magnetic compass anymore. We have already, anyway, the alternative to the magnetic compass, which is Fugaro. Fugaro is a satellite system which is grouping all the constellation. GPS, GLONASS, Badu, Galileo, and Fugro itself, which is private, and is recognized as a heading sensor. So we have it. No, we normally don't use it. We have an optical gyro compass, which is very, very accurate. It's a coil of basically optical fiber cable, and we inject a light in, and it spins in. So the variation down here can be significant, and therefore we don't normally use it.
Already kind of we are experiencing a big deviation
Yes.
of the magnetic. It already start to be very unreliable already. From yesterday I was checking and already over 5-6 degrees off.
Yes.
So,
So and we're still, let's say, north. As we go further south, this increase, and so it wouldn't be really any good. Definitely not for what we are trying to achieve here now.
saying so, the navigation throughout those passages is very by side. So as that having a specific heading is obviously useful, but in terms of navigation is very traditional. We'll say here is like by eyes. So compared to the obviously, if someone is asking, "Oh, we're gonna be autopilot," is some question that often no, that's all hand steering is all manual here, and it's, as Captain often says, voice controlled. So
Yes,
it's
it is
officer
the-
voice control.
Voice activated autopilot. Yes, it works better than anything else. You don't need to do an upgrade. You don't. Just feed the man, and that's it. You done the upgrade. Huh?
Yeah, it's some throughout the checklist or every time the settings is a human like.
It's a human being. And it's a long-term discussion between the automatic system and what is man-controlled. The best automatic system is still depending on sensor. And if a sensor lies to the system will take it as an actual condition. Unfortunately, we've seen, not much in our industry, but in aviation, we've seen catastrophic events recently triggered by incorrect input